when I try to explain what I'm doing when I'm building AI agents, most people are confused. So I'm building one for the app I'm building now for the one-man media empire. And I thought I would just kind of show you what I'm doing and what I'm thinking and give you all the tools I use to build agents and get some feedback from you all. So let me share the screen and I'll show you kind of what one man media empire looks like now. Then we will walk through this step by step. Okay, so this is one man media empire. And the whole reason I had to build this is because I just started YouTube. I'm not good at YouTube and it takes me forever to put these videos together. And it's all a lot harder than I thought. So I've kind of documented my flow and I covered that last week. And I'm building out a system that helps me store my ideas, get my ideas, research my ideas, put them into a segment format, etc. There's a lot of other stuff that this is going to do in the future, but right now I'm building this for me. And what I want to do here is actually build a research agent that takes one of these ideas and goes out and does research on it and brings it back and appends the research to the idea so I can look it over and get more research about it, whatever it is I'm looking at. So like Google Pomali is a tool that I was kind of looking at that does branding stuff, which I'm not great at, but I was going to do a show on that. But anyway, I have ideas stored here. This is just in kind of my local file, so nothing too big right now. And yeah, these are my ideas and I need them researched. So here's how that works. Let's first define what an agent actually is. So when I think of an agent, when I'm explaining an agent to people, I explain it like this. I give them a coffee example. So imagine that I have an assistant sitting next to me, and my problem is that I want a cup of coffee and I want something to eat. If I have to imagine I'm telling this assistant of mine, okay, I've got I'm hungry, I want some coffee, and I want a bagel. So that assistant to me, depending on how smart it is, I have to be more or less explicit with it. So when we're talking about a workflow, like a normal workflow, not an agentic workflow, you have an input, which is like my instructions that I give to my assistant, but it's how the logic is treated that really kind of separates what an agent is from just a run of the day workflow. So if I had to explain to my assistant, you need to go down the stairs, go to this street, turn right, go to this coffee shop, look at the menu, find decaffeinated coffee. I want a medium 12 ounce, and I want 2.7 grams of cream and one packet of stevia in there. Then I want you to order the bagel, and I need it toasted with cream cheese. And when you're done with that, take out your wallet, ask the cashier how much it is, then give the money to the cashier. You see, I have to be very explicit with the type of instructions I give to this assistant. Think of it as a human assistant when I'm doing a workflow. This is the way we used to build workflows or, some path that we build to have your computer do something for you. The difference is with agents now, I can give that same input and the logic is different. So I think of this as, okay, I give that input, but this time my assistant is really smart. It has a smart brain and it just knows all that stuff. So I can say, hey, I'm thirsty. I need some coffee with a bagel and some cream cheese. And then the assistant is smart enough to know, okay, great. I know where the nearest coffee houses are. And it might ask me a few questions like, what kind of coffee you want? I would say, I just want a decaf with a little cream and a bagel with everything bagel with cream cheese on it. The agent might then come back and just say, okay, I have an idea of what that is, might ask me some clarifying questions. Do you want your bagel toasted? And I'd say, yes, I want my bagel toasted. Go get that stuff and bring it back for me. And it would know to go down the stairs. It would know to go on street A, turn right on street B. It would know how much money it has in its wallet. It would know, to go talk to the cashier. I wouldn't have to tell it all of these explicit instructions, and it could just do the thing for me and return an output, which in this case would be my decaffeinated coffee and a toasted everything bagel with cream cheese on it. And then when you have a string of these, you just repeat them. So that maybe that was step one in the agentic workflow. And you just repeat these and string them together. The next thing I want to talk about is where you can get all this stuff. So I'm about to show you how I build one of these flows, and I have all of the files and everything that I'm showing you at testandprod.co. I'll put a link in the description, and this will show you how to use the file system that I'm using. I'll go into deeper tutorials on this later on, but you can go get all that stuff here. So let's get into the IDE. So I'm using Cursor here, the IDE, and I'm using a bunch of different agents, Gemini, Claude, and Codex. If you're looking at this and this scares you, don't be scared. Watch these shows and it will become easier and easier. You can see that this is literally going to be just like a chat system. But let me explain to you a little bit about what I'm doing in the IDE. So if we come over here, I want you to explain this workflow to you. The first thing I'm going to do is kind of just define the problem to the agent. I have a file in there. It knows the protocol we're about to follow. Just think of that as an AI prompt. And it knows what we need to do. So I'm going to talk about the problem with the agent. Then I'm going to talk about the desired outcome with the agent, get clear on that. Then we're going to build this human agentic system flow, which it has a template for in my folder. So it knows exactly what we need to do. We're going to go through this flow, and a human system flow is essentially doing what I was just talking about with my fake assistant I was talking about, but we're doing it for a computer. So I'm going to say, here's what I want to see and do as a human in the One Man Media Empire app. And then what are the accompanying system things that the computer or AI needs to go do? So I'll say, I want to select an idea and then have the agent go out and do some research on that and bring it back. So well, that means we need to maybe reference a schema in the database. We need to call an API, or we need to call an API and select an agent model, depending on what type of research it is, so it can go out and do the research. It's going to be thing human wants to do, the thing the human does, what the system does in response, and then the output that it gives back to me. It's literally this flow. We're going to be having a general conversation, and the AI is going to take everything and put it into the format of this flow. Input, logic, what the system's doing, output, next step. Then what I do when I'm building these things is I use that to define a functional PRD, which is just a fancy way of saying it's kind of the overall general plan, not in technical language, just what the app or feature needs to do. PRD stands for product requirement document, but you could just think of this as like a functional plan. Then after we have that functional plan, we have a tech talk where we say, okay, here's kind of the plan and the flow that I want. What are the technical considerations we need for this? What APIs do we need to hook into? How do we need to structure our database? The AI, like Gemini, Claude, all those can help you with this step by step. Then after we do those steps, we make an implementation plan where we break everything down into steps. And I can take each of those steps and I make sure that in my protocol for building implementation plans, the AI agent knows that I want these broken into logical steps where I can test after each step. So the AI just doesn't run off and build whatever it wants. One thing I see a lot with vibe coding is people get frustrated because after they've been vibe coding for an hour, they get this huge behemoth of a code base that has all this extra superfluous code in it. And when something breaks, they have no idea how to fix it. This prevents that from happening. And again, you guys can get all this for free in the folders I'm about to show you. Then after we do that, we start executing the implementation plan and build. So let me show you what this looks like in the IDE. You can see what I was talking about. I have a folder here called Workbench, and I have another folder inside of that just called Agent Idea Research Build. And all this is the folder I'm using to build out these different steps that we just covered. You'll see I have an AI folder that has different skills. We are using the Human-System-Agents-Flow skill. Okay, so this is a skill that I can give to the agent. It reads through it and knows exactly what to do. If you've heard people talking about Claude skills, lately. Those are literally just folders with instructions that the AI follows, and you can build your own. Maybe I'll do another show on that, but it's going to be following this. And it has templates for each of these documents. It has templates for the agentic flow, and it has templates for the implementation plan. It has a template for the PRD right here, and it's taking those templates and that's what it's using to fill these in. So I don't have to do anything except for have a conversation. And that's what I'm about to show you right now. So I'm going to just click into this box and I'm going to start talking to Gemini. A little note on Gemini and Claude and Codex. You can see, and if you've watched my previous shows, I have Claude Code is kind of my architect, senior developer agent, where I have them review what I'm doing and help me with planning. Then I use Gemini and Codex. I've been using Gemini a lot more to actually do the implementation. So I'm going to be working with Gemini to make the initial plan for this. Then I'm going to have Claude Code review that and give Gemini some feedback for me, if that makes sense. So Claude Code is kind of like my CTO, lead architect, lead technical developer. Gemini and Codex are my workhorses that I use to actually build stuff. Then I have that stuff reviewed by Claude and make changes. It saves a lot of money and a lot of time because Gemini is super fast. But let's start off. I'm going to just tell Gemini what to reference and make sure he understands my commands, and then we will start. Good morning. I need you to look at the Human-System-Agents-Flow.md file in the protocols folder under the skills folder. Look through that, read through it, and tell me your understanding. Do not start building anything yet. Just read through it and let me know your understanding of this, and then we will move to the next step. Okay, so Gemini went out and read through that. It's confirmed its understanding. It says that my understanding is that the skill is designed to prevent magic steps in AI development by forcing a clear distinction between human action, the UI and the UX, and the system action. Yep, sounds like it has all that correct. Now I'm going to tell it about what's happening in the workbench. Great. In my workbench folder, which I use to just do work, I have another folder called Agent Idea Research Build. In that, you will see an idea research agent flow.md file that's already populated with the template for this flow we're about to do. I want you to use that to put all of the information that we're talking to. We'll talk, you can ask me stuff in the chat, but at the end of the day, the artifact that we're making here is idea research agent flow.md. Do you understand? Do not build anything. Just tell me if you understand. Okay, Gemini says it understands completely. The file is our target, so it knows to target that. I will use our conversation to fill it in according to protocol. I won't start any implementation until we have finalized that document. Okay, now there's a template I want you to reference, and that's what we're going to use to fill this in. In the templates folder, there is a file called agenticflow.md. Take a look at that file and then use that template and fill in the idea research agentflow.md right now with that blank template. Right now, the idea research agentflow.md underneath my agent ID research build folder in the workbench folder is empty. Go ahead and fill that folder in with a blank template skeleton. Okay, you can see that I'm on here and Gemini has just populated everything into this file for me. So it looks like we are ready to go. Okay, we are ready to go as far as I can see. Are you ready for me to start just describing in a normal conversational way what I see happening here? And then we can start having a discussion about the agent human flow. He said that he's ready. Now I'm just going to talk normally to the agent and we're going to start filling this in. Okay, great. So here's how I see this working. In my one-man media empire, I have my ideas vault that has a list of all of my ideas. I want to be able to select one of those ideas, and then I want to go out, or I want the system to be able to go out and do some research based on that idea. I think there's some steps here where after I select an idea that the system or the LLM could maybe ask me some clarifying questions about what type of research I want, or maybe even suggest some type of research that it could do for me. I want it to go out and do the research and bring back the research that it did and just describe it to me in a brief summary so I can understand the type of research that it did. And then I want to verify the type of research that it did and say, okay, this is good or this is not good enough. And maybe I want it to do some more research or change the things that I want it to research. If I do that, I want the agent or the system to be able to go out and do more research, bring back a summary, and keep on going around in this loop until I say, okay, this research looks good. At that point in time, I want the research that was done to be appended to that idea so I can scan it and use that research to develop an idea within my system. Does this make sense to you? Okay, Gemini just came back and it said, this makes perfect sense. You're describing a classic human in the loop agentic workflow. Here's my distillation for you. And it kind of gave the different phases that it wants with just a preview of the human system and tasks that's going to happen in this workflow. So I kind of like what I'm seeing right now, but I always go back and I ask the agent if there's anything I missed, if there's any other suggestions that they might have. Okay, thanks for that. Uh, I want you to review that flow and use your brain and think if I've left anything out, if there's anything we could do to make this flow better. What are your initial thoughts? Okay, so it is answering my question. It says, I've reviewed the flow. The happy path is solid, but I see two major opportunities. One is the niche. The problem, the agent sees the idea video about Rust. I would never make that video, but it doesn't know your angle. Are you a news channel? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, it doesn't need this. And the dead end protection. The problem sometimes is just an idea, bad, or that's no data. The agent, if the agent searches and finds nothing, the current flow just returns a sparse summary. Okay, I see what you're saying there, but I don't think we need to worry about those. This agent is just doing the research. I have another agent that helps me with angles or different ways we can tell this story. And with the dead end, that's fine. If it comes back and says it didn't find anything, that's great. I might just tell it to go back out and try a different type of research. Does this make sense? Okay, it came back and it said that makes total sense. You want this agent to be a specialist researcher, not a product manager or production manager, keeping it focused on just mining. It's cleaner. Says that it agrees and it finds nothing. That's still an answer. It informs your next decision in the loop. And I think we're good to go. So now I'm going to ask it, or I'm going to tell it to just go ahead and update the document. So go ahead and update the idea research agent flow.md file, and then make sure you're filling in the problem and the outcome that we're wanting here as well. When you're done, come back to me and then we will review it and then move on to the PRD stage. Okay, it's done and it came back and it said it's populated the file. I'm going to go review that now. If I was really building this, which I'm going to be building this later today, I would do a much more thorough job reviewing this. But let's just say we look at the file. I'm going to go ahead and put this in preview so you all can see it better. So we look at the file, we review it, and it looks like you got the context flow, he's got the user problem, the desired outcome, and the different phases with all the different steps in it. So this is all looking really, really good, actually. There's a few things I would change, but that's fine. I could just have another discussion with it. And I would say, okay, this looks good. And then I would move into the PRD stage. That's another video going into PRDs, but I wanted to give you an idea of how I go through these workflows when I'm thinking about building agents. I hope that makes sense. So over here, essentially what we are doing is saying that I want to click on an idea, tell an agent to go out and research that idea. It will bring some research back for me in a summarized way. I can either say that's good, and if that's good, it will append the research to this idea so I can open it up and look at it. And if it's not good, it'll go out and do more research and keep on going in that loop until I like it. And then it'll attach all of that to the research and then I can review everything. So yeah, that's what this does. Let me know if you all like these type of videos. I've just started. So when I know that I could make a video on something like the latest and greatest new AI tool and make a sensationalist headline about it, and that might do better. But I feel like these types of videos are way more helpful, not only for you because you might see something new and learn something new, but because people will hopefully give me feedback on how they see me doing my work, and I'll be able to do better work because of that. So let me know. Again, if you want all this, you can get the entire conductor framework that I just showed you, which is much more than what I just showed you there. That was just one little skill that I showed you. And it's all for free at testandprod.co, and you can get that in the description as well. But that is all, and I will talk to you tomorrow.